My name is Lucas Aoun. I uncover the most cutting edge health information on the planet, ranging from hormones, nutrition, supplementation, fat loss, biohacking, longevity, wellness, and a whole lot more. Welcome to the Boost Your Biology podcast. This is going to be a big claim, but I personally think that this particular seaweed is the world's healthiest seaweed. What I'm going to do is take a look at the benefits of Ecklonia Cava, which is a brown seaweed that I personally think is the ultimate marine drug. This particular seaweed is a super potent seaweed that has 14 years of research and nearly $35 million of clinical studies demonstrating the importance of this particular seaweed. Now, Ecklonia-derived polyphenols are basically unlike those found in land-based plants and are quite possibly the most powerful antioxidants found in nature, being 10 to 100 times more powerful than any other polyphenols. So what is Ecklonia Cava? Well, Ecklonia Cava, not to be confused with kava, is an edible marine brown algae popular and abundant in Korea and Japan, and contains various bioactive compounds and derivatives including fluorotannins, peptides, carotenoids, and fucoidins. Now, the major health benefits associated with Ecklonia Cava are very diverse, and so here's a list of some of the major benefits we see with Ecklonia Cava. Number one is for its ability to enhance blood flow. Number two is its beneficial effects on supporting sleep. Number three is enhancing erection quality. Number four is by optimizing and improving insulin sensitivity. Number five is by reducing pain. Number six is its potent antioxidant effects. Number seven is its reducing effect on allergies and the histamine response. Number eight is its highly neuroprotective. It combats cancer in clinical studies. It combats alcohol toxicity. It protects against EMFs. It reduces ear damage, and it may also boost muscle growth. So first of all, let's take a look at how Ecklonia Cava can actually enhance blood flow in the body. Now, Ecklonia Cava can actually regenerate the vascular endothelium, which is the cells critical to the inner lining of the blood vessels. Now, they generate the chemical nitric oxide, which keeps the arterial walls relaxed and dilated, allowing for better blood flow. Now, after a 6-week study of Ecklonia Cava, flow-mediated dilation and nitric oxide-mediated dilation increased by 60% and 50% respectively. In another study, coronary artery disease patients were given Ecklonia Cava for 6 weeks, and blood flow controlled by nitric oxide increased by 50 to 60%. So we can see how the dicol, which is one of the compounds found within Ecklonia Cava, interacts with pathways related to nitric oxide synthesis in the endothelial cell. From a muscle growth perspective, now this study here was titled "The Effects of Marine Algal Polyphenols, Fluorotannins on Skeletal Muscle Growth in C2, C12 Muscle Cells via SMAD and IGF-1 signaling pathways." Now, just like epicatechin, which is another natural muscle builder from dark chocolate, Ecklonia Cava is a strong follistatin booster, and such is a myostatin inhibitor. Now, if you do a quick Google search and you search myostatin inhibitor dogs, you'll see that dogs that have a deficiency in myostatin, they have insane muscle development. And there are many different peptides and steroids that actually work on this follistatin to myostatin pathway. And so since Ecklonia Cava boosts follistatin and actually suppresses myostatin, this does appear to have a favorable effect on building muscle. Now, in addition, the dicol and these fluorotannins regulates myogenesis by downregulating the SMAD signaling, which is a negative regulator, and upregulating the insulin-like growth factor 1 signaling, which is a positive regulator. Now, interestingly, some of these compounds bind strongly to myostatin, which is an inhibitor of myoblast proliferation, while also binding to IGF-1 receptors. Moreover, they bind to the IGF-1 receptor, and these results suggest that these constituents found within Ecklonia Cava are potential natural muscle building supplements and could be safer alternatives to synthetic drugs to stimulate muscle growth. And by the way, you will have noticed over the years that Ecklonia Cava was indeed an ingredient that was used in various natural muscle building products. Unfortunately, what happened over time, these particular products faded away and there was less marketing efforts and research talking about the benefits of these particular ingredients. And Ecklonia Cava was one such ingredient that I think what happened is we got so carried away with looking at creatine research, we got interested in looking at citrulline, arginine, and other amino acids where we have a bigger budget for studying. The next benefit, as I alluded to before, was the enhancement of sleep. Now, Ecklonia Cava is one of the best supplements to improve sleep, and this is something that I've noticed myself and a lot of my clients have also noticed. Now, Ecklonia Cava is one of those supplements where you take it before bed, about 60 to 90 minutes before bed, and you end up sleeping so deeply that it's pretty much impossible to fall back asleep after you've woken up in the morning. So what I mean by this is, let's say your typical wake up time is around 6 o'clock or 7 a.m. For me personally, it's around 6:15 a.m. When I take Ecklonia Cava, it makes it impossible to fall back asleep at around 6:15 a.m., which means that my sleep quality is so high quality and it's extremely restorative. So we can see that Ecklonia Cava promotes many of its central nervous system effects via the GABA-A benzodiazepine receptors. Now, by acting on these receptors, Ecklonia Cava has also shown to have anticonvulsive properties, and the polyphenols in Ecklonia Cava are strong potentiators of sleep. For example, the trifluoroethanol A, which is found in Ecklonia Cava, may actually improve sleep by decreasing sleep latency and increasing non-rapid eye movement sleep, so non-REM sleep. So in animal models, this particular constituent found in Ecklonia Cava was able to replicate the effects of zolpidem or Ambien, but unlike Ambien, it increased the quantity of sleep without reducing sleep quality. So incredible stuff here, and this is credit to Jacob Gordon from My Biohack. Looking at the erection quality side of things, this is obviously related to the blood flow. Results confirm that Ecklonia Cava can rejuvenate damaged endothelial cells to upregulate and produce nitric oxide. So this effect was further confirmed in a study on erectile dysfunction, where scientists studied 31 men with erectile dysfunction for over 6 months. They compared 8 weeks of Ecklonia Cava use to Viagra, and they looked at orgasmic function, intercourse satisfaction, overall satisfaction, and erectile function. Now, over those 8 weeks, Ecklonia Cava scored 87%, 74%, 62%, and 66%, whilst Viagra scored 27%, 44%, 39%, and 66%. No side effects were reported with Ecklonia Cava. Looking at its ability to enhance insulin sensitivity, so we can see Ecklonia's polyphenols are very effective at combating multiple pathologies of diabetes. For example, Ecklonia has shown in double-blind randomized placebo-controlled clinical trials over 12 weeks to reduce postprandial hyperglycemia and insulin resistance. Now, Ecklonia can improve type 1 diabetes symptoms by activation of AMPK, ACC, and PI3K AKT pathway. In addition, Ecklonia can also reduce high blood glucose via the alpha-glucosidase and alpha-amylase inhibition and oxidative stress from hyperglycemia associated with diabetes. For example, in models of type 2 diabetes, Ecklonia Cava can normalize blood glucose, insulin, and body weight. Now, Ecklonia has also shown to protect pancreatic beta cells, improve their insulin secretion, and reduce extra glucose-induced insulin secretion via sodium-dependent glucose transporter 1 or SGLT1 inhibition. Now, as I mentioned before, it's got a very potent antioxidant effect, so strong that in fact it can actually outperform various antioxidants on the market. Now, the polyphenols in Ecklonia Cava are powerful at combating oxidative stress and protect against cellular damage. For example, Ecklonia can combat oxidative stress by upregulating antioxidative NRF2 downstream transcription factors. And as I mentioned before around the reduction in allergies and histamine responses, Ecklonia cava has a powerful anti-allergic effect. It can reduce IgE responses from basophils and mast cells and decrease histamine release. It may also inhibit anaphylactic reactions via mast cell activation, and it can stop UVB-induced allergic reactions. Now, it's also considered to be highly neuroprotective. Now, Ecklonia cava is also able to increase acetylcholine levels in the brain via butyrylcholinesterase inhibition 100-fold greater than acetylcholinesterase. Now, Ecklonia cava can also protect the hippocampus against oxidative stress by stabilizing intracellular calcium levels. Now, we know that calcium abundance can actually lead to oxidative damage, and so it can actually stabilize the intracellular calcium levels. In the rest of the brain, Ecklonia can protect neurons from oxidative stress via mitochondrial protection and ACHE inhibition, and Ecklonia's polyphenols can modulate neurotransmitters to enhance cognition by boosting acetylcholine, increasing GABA, increasing glutamate, lowering norepinephrine, and increasing serotonin in the hippocampus. Now, some studies suggest that Ecklonia's polyphenols have cancer-suppressing effects against breast cancer, colon cancer, fibrosarcoma, liver cancer, melanoma, ovarian cancer, and also skin cancer. Now, as I mentioned before around the alcohol toxicity, Ecklonia cava does appear to protect the liver from alcohol-induced injury and helps to break down alcohol by regulating alcohol dehydrogenase and aldehyde dehydrogenase. So, can also prevent major changes to serum AST and ALT levels after alcohol ingestion. If you're a guy that's ever had your blood work assessed and you've had a liver panel assessed, you will have noticed that your ALT or AST numbers, what they might have been, if they were high, that actually can indicate liver damage. And so in this study here, they're looking at how Ecklonia cava can actually normalize and lower AST and ALT, just like what we see with TUDCA, taurine, and artichoke, and even glutathione. So again, we're having a protective effect on the liver there. Ecklonia may also protect against EMFs, so electromagnetic fields, by suppressing cell death, and it can also stop radiation-induced death in some animal models by reducing immunosuppression, and it can also reduce ear damage. So there's a study that suggests that it may protect from ear damage. So as far as dosages are concerned, we're looking at around 300 to 500 milligrams, preferably after dinner or after a high-fat meal. Now, due to its partial fat solubility of the Ecklonia cava compounds, its polyphenols can last 12 to 14 hours in human metabolism, whereas most plant-based tannins have a small half-life of approximately only 30 minutes. In addition to a significantly longer half-life, Ecklonia cava's oxygen radical absorbance capacity, or ORAC value, for antioxidation potential is 8,300. So again, with Ecklonia cava, personally, I like to use it before bed, 60 to 90 minutes before bed. And a number of other men who take Ecklonia cava before bed notice the benefits in terms of improving sleep, increasing morning wood, and reducing blood pressure, and also enhancing circulation. So if you do want to purchase Ecklonia cava, you'll see that linked down below. That pretty much wraps up today's podcast episode. If you learned something new, please do me a favor and leave a 5-star review for the podcast channel. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for listening in. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.